God bless everybody. I'm sitting here at work in my tractor trailer, you know, and the last time I made a video, it was me and wifey, right? We were at the house cutting up credit cards and everything. And today I just got off the phone. I closed my Home Depot card, and yesterday I closed my Discover card. You know, Home Depot was pretty cool. Like, you know, they didn't really attack me. You know, I mean, once the lady asked me, you know, why it was that I was closing the card, and I got into, you know, Dave Ramsey and getting rid of credit cards and how it's wonderful for our relationship because it's so healthy. And me and my wife were talking and all this and that. She was like, oh, wow, like, yeah, well, I've heard of that, whatever, you know, and she didn't really come at me. But yesterday when I tried to close my Discover card, like, not only did I get switched from the rep who initially, you know, handled the call, but the guy that they switched me to, I guess, works at a department where they, you know, this is what they deal with, right? And so he was coming at me with all kinds of questions. Oh, well, what are you going to do if you have an emergency? And, you know, do you realize that there's 0% financing and all this and that? And you know, well, you should at least have one credit card and all this stuff, you know. And he was like really, you know, enticing me. And he was like, well, if you're having a problem managing your budget, well, we can just lower your credit limit. We don't have to give you so much. You know, is that something that'll work? And I'm like, well, that's kind of like being an alcoholic, right? And I told him this. It's like being an alcoholic, right? And you got, you know, liquor in the living room. Yeah, you might have people over, you might have some functions or whatever, and that's there for them, you know, but you're the alcoholic. You're the one that has the issue with the alcohol, and just having it in the living room is just, you know, too close, you know, even if it is just $500. You follow what I'm saying? He was like, oh no, you know, that's a perfect analogy, and I understand definitely where you're coming from. And you know, so then he's like, well, he hit me again. Well, what about if you have an emergency, you know, and did I tell you that we have zero interest, you know? And I'm like, well, my friend Dave Ramsey says, you know, I don't actually know if he said it or not, but I just wanted to throw Dave's name in there, right? Because I remember listening to one of the shows. He was like, yeah, if you call, you have problems, you throw my name in there. I'm sure they'll back off. And you know what? I threw his name in there. I was like, yeah, my friend Dave Ramsey says, you know, cash in the bank, you know, having your own cash in the bank doesn't charge interest either. And the guy was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Oh, all right, you know, well, and then he kind of backed off and he was like, well, Mr., you know, Feliciano, we understand where you're coming from, this, that, and the third, or whatever, you know, and if there's ever anything that we could do, please feel free to call us back again. In the back of my mind was like, yeah, you never see me again. But you know, it's just, it feels so good just being able to call these people and just, you know, and you know, real quick, you know, I'm a tractor trailer driver. I've been driving tractor trailers for 15 years. And, you know, I kind of was getting tired, you know, and I wanted to make more money to be able to better take care of my family and stuff like that. And I started going back to school. You know, I started working on an IT engineering degree, right? A 2-year associates. And, you know, like in the beginning of me going to school and everything, I was all gung-ho and couldn't wait to get out and to finish my classes, to get out into the job market and stuff like that, you know, to increase my earning potential, you know. But ever since I started doing this Dave Ramsey stuff, I'm like, dang, you know, like, if I would have made more money, I just would have spent more money, which meant, you know, the hole that I would have got in would have been much bigger, much deeper, much more serious, you know, by me making more money. So it's like now, you know, I work I drive a job that is, you know, I don't go that far, so I don't have to put in those 12, 14-hour days that most tractor trailer drivers, you know, or, you know, sometimes even more, depending on what, you know, whether you're regional or long distance, for those that understand, you know, what I'm referring to in terms of, you know, driving logistics and transportation and whatnot, and whatnot. But you know, so it, you know, I drive, you know, I work my 8 hours, maybe 9 hours. Every once in a while I get a 10, 12 hour day, but it's not really nothing, you know, because they ask me ahead of time, you know, and they're really flexible. So I'm able to come, you know, accommodate, you know, I'm able to do my classes, go to class and everything. So, but anyway, so I'm not making that much, you know, but now there's not a sense of urgency. Like I don't have that cloud hanging over me, you know, that I had before. That, you know, to better take care of my family and to get out of the, you know, driving, you know, to go into IT and stuff like that. You know, to make more money, because with the little bit that I'm making now, you know, I'm able to manage it a little. You know, my wife and I are able to manage it a whole lot better, you know, and we're knocking out debt, we're knocking out credit cards, and, you know, we're paying, you know, and this feeling of having a goal and like seeing that there is hope for us in the future, and just and it's like sky's the limit now, you know. And I can't help but to think of that scripture that says, you know, in Spanish it goes, si eres fiel en lo poco, en lo mucho te pondré. If you are faithful with the little bit, you know, I will place you in abundance. I'll have to look that up because I'm not sure if I translated it correctly, but basically that's what it is. You know, if you're faithful with the little bit I gave you, I will, you know, I will increase you, you know. And you know, just Sunday, you know, we gave a tithing, you know, from the tax returns we got, because the tax returns we got, you know, like I had my wife going crazy. You know, we were going to go on vacation because we was planning on having another baby, so we were going to go on vacation before the baby. So, and then I got this bright idea. Well, instead of, you know, paying for plane tickets, you know, it'd be, let's get a minivan. That way, you know what I'm saying, you know, because after we use the plane tickets, that's just money we're going to throw away, right? I used the money that for plane tickets to get a minivan as a down payment. Well, at least when we come back, we'll have the minivan, you know. But when we come back, not only will we have the minivan, but the bills we had from before, and on top of that, we're going to have another bill for the minivan, the car note, and an insurance bill that's going to be bigger, like, you know. And then, that was the plan. I even, you know, put in for my days at work for the vacation and everything, and and then, you know, I heard my brother says me Dave Ramsey, and I'm like, no, we canceled the vacation. You know, then we were gonna fix the basement, to rent out the basement, to get some income in, and then we stopped that, and then it's just like, you know, and I kind of was driving my wife crazy, and she was like, yo, what's wrong with this dude? Like, what we gonna do? Like, you know, but then she, you know, got turned on to it. You know, because she doesn't speak English that good. She's from Dominican Republic, so she speaks Spanish. So I turned her on to that Andres Gutierrez, you know. So she, you know, which is like it's the same baby steps. It's just in Spanish, right? So you know, she's on board with it, you know. But you know, it like the changes, you know, and not only financial changes, but emotional and spiritual, and it's a whole lot easier for me to sit down with my wife and do a budget, you know, because before, when we, you know, we kind of sat down and did a budget, but all we did was just distribute the money to just pay bills, you know. It wasn't like we were setting aside anything for saving. We weren't thinking about retirement. We weren't thinking about none of that. You know, we know in the back of our minds that, yeah, we're going to retire, that, yeah, our kids are going to go to college eventually, that, like, all this stuff, you know, that, but it's like we didn't have a plan to deal with that stuff, you know. And the couple of people that I've been talking to, you know, I kind of refer to, like, you know, to a car, you don't wait for your car to run out of gas to put gas in it. You know, you know, before you run out, you put gas in it, you know. Or like if there's like a storm coming, you know, you prepare, right? You get batteries, you get gas, you get ready before the storm comes. You know, there's even the scripture about that, about, you know, preparing for stuff, you know. But yeah, man, this is just part of the steps, man. This is just part of the stuff that we're experiencing, at my house with with Dave Ramsey. That, and it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and you can be tested. You know what I mean? Just depending where you're at in life. Everybody's maturity level is different. Stuff like that. But it's definitely worth it. I mean, for us, for me, for my wife, so far so good. All right. So God bless everybody, and I'll keep you guys posted on our journey.